Alright, hello and welcome to this new video. I'm going to say right off the bat, this is not for League players. This is for the specific few people that have either seen me stream this or heard me talk about this and wanted to join in. This is a game called Grepolis. This is played on the web browser as well as on, the mobile phone if you want to run like that. And I'm going to try to dump as much info as possible into this video so that you can learn how to at least get started, um, so that if you end up joining me in this world, we can have a good time. I mean, there are a couple of viewers that have joined. I believe like Adamastus, he's probably gonna get conquered. He's got no beginner protection. This guy's got beginner protection. This is Stereo, and I think Magic Warden was around here somewhere. All right, but anyways, let's get started. This is a world of information that you guys are gonna have to absorb, and I'll try to do it in like a linear fashion. Let's start with buildings. When you start the world, you get one shitty building. It starts at about 175 points. Some of these guys started. If you just hover over them, they've got points. This is Braun actually. This is another one of my viewers, but he's in a different world. You start at 175. This guy built like something, so it's at 197. All right, and you've got this is the overview that it gives you, and they have a tutorial for you, and you can skip it or whatever. You can follow it, but basically, you would want to follow it if possible. At the start of the game, they give you a lot of different rewards for building things. They do quests, right? And you can see my quest book. They still do that even till the end of the game, until you like max out your structures, right? And they give you different rewards. In this case, it's like gold. You don't have to worry about that. That's just like the in-game currency that you actually end up buying with real world money. Don't worry about that. The important part is actually getting those quests so that you can get the resources to continue developing. Because in one day, as long as it's like Speed 3 world or something. Oh, I should explain that first actually. Different worlds have different settings. There's unit speed, there's the way in which you conquer people. We'll get into that later. There's more like the most important is world speed. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. They usually don't go past like 4. That determines how quickly things are built, how much resources you get, or how many resources you get from farming villages, various things like that. How quickly shit builds is the important part. Yeah, so follow these things. You get a lot of resources, and you can build up to like a 1600, 1700 within 12 hours, right? The important thing about early on is a lot of buildings. When it hits like 5 minutes, let's just scroll through, find any. Yeah, oh, there we go. If it's 5 minutes or under, they reward players that are active. You can just click the button here, and it finishes it. Right? You'll wonder why there's like a button here. It's to complete these things instantly. If you're someone who spends money on this game, you can immediately finish buildings, and you can see how that gives you an advantage. Right? So like if you're really active, you just go through all your cities and like, okay, anytime something's about to hit 5 minutes, you go and click that. Right, and then it finishes that building. So the reason why that's important for you is because when you start the game, pretty much every building is going to be around 5 to 6 minutes. They do that on purpose. Okay, you gotta understand that. And all right, that's simple. Make sure you get right when you start the game. It's going to be the Senate, Quarry, Timber Camp, Silver Mine. These 3 are not so important. Okay, we'll go through every building from top down. I just want to make sure I grab that free. Yeah, we're gonna get this. So the Senate. So the Senate is somewhat the most important. It's how you actually end up building things. Think of it as like a city level. You imagine an actual city. It's like I guess the government building. It's like okay, it's like the administrative shit. What it does is it reduces the amount of time for other shit to build, and so that's important because you can think of it like if you build something and then the Senate, you just lost out on the bonus of getting like the Senate out, and then whatever it is you were going to build before it, you could build after it, and you would take off like a couple of minutes, which matters later on. Do not go beyond level 24 in the Senate. This is very important. All right, this is like way into the future. Everyone that plays Grepolis or has played Grepolis for a while knows that you just don't go beyond that. You can get level 25 Senate, and that would reduce the construction time even further, but no, you don't do that. You hard cap it at 24. That way you can get the special buildings. This is important. You got to look at all the prerequisites. You'll know these prerequisites off the top of your head at some point. I've played like for 7 years or something since I was in 8th grade. You cap it at 24 so you can get the left special buildings. The right special buildings go up to 21, right? So then the overlap is, well, if you're 24, you're over 21. You're 24, you're at 24 here, right? This is obvious. And you want the thermal baths and you want the divine statue. We'll talk about the buildings later. Okay, super important. Population. Okay, every city has population. Population is used in building things, as well as hold on. It's used in building things, as well as making units. Obviously, so you can't just like max out cities without like an actual cost. Pretty much, is the idea. So some cities you end up like even demolishing structure to get population just so you can max out your armies. But that's like super late game. That's like when you actually have 1,600 or 16,000 cities that are like maxed out, and you just want to get like those couple extra units. Okay. But the farm's very important, incredibly important. Let's put it at like second priority. We're gonna get that, or like third priority after the academy. Okay, the resource gaining thingies. These are literally only for prerequisites. You got to get 15 timber camp, 10 silver mine to get a harbor. You need a harbor. All right. And you don't really need the city wall when you're within the alliance, but you get these up for the quest. The quest will tell you to like get them up to a certain level. Just put them at like 15. All of them at 15. Don't really do anything. These are kind of things that you build when you have nothing else to build. If you don't have enough resources, something like that. Yeah, that's simple. Barracks. This is where you build your units. Leaving it at like 10 is fine for the early game. The higher level the barracks are, the less time it takes for you to build actual units. Okay, and it goes from like 5 minutes to like round 2 or something like that. Which is for min-maxing, right? Like you want to get as much, you want to get that efficiency, but at the same time, when you're early on in the levels, you're not exactly trying to crank out units, right? Maybe if you're in a very heated area, sure, you want to crank out defense units. But it's like if you end up starting with beginner protection and you have 5 days, you might as well use that to not build the barracks and build up the rest of your city, like the academy for research, things like that. So don't worry about that right now. Okay. Yeah, leave it at 10, or even at 5, which is like I don't know where the quest takes you. I think it takes you around 10. One important thing about the barracks is it requires, like, in order to build units, you can't build all of them right away. You can only build swordsmen at the start of the game. You'll notice I can build the rest of this shit. That's because I got like the prerequisites, which is the academy, right? You got to research these things. So I researched slingers and like horsemen, so you can make those kind of units. Catapults. These three are mythical units. You'll notice in every city I have a different god that I'm worshiping. So they give me different mythical units. They have 2 mythical units each, right? And every god can support divine envoys, which are terrible. Don't worry about them. They'll make you build them early for the quest. Just use them for like killing the bandit camps. And every god has like different. These are important to know what they're useful for, but I mean you can ask that elsewhere. Like Google that something. Just really quickly. There are some mythical units that are flying, and they are the most OP. Like they're just ridiculously OP. Okay, because in this game there are 2 ways of combat. There's naval and there's land. Okay, and in order to get your naval through, right? In order to fight the land, you have to win the naval battle with your ships, and then you have to not have your naval battle like be like a Pyrrhic victory. You know, you can't like kill all their shit, but all your shit's dead, because then your boats die as well, right? Sometimes like you barely survive a naval battle and all your shit dies, and then some of your transports go through. But if they kill your transports, that immediately kills all the land units on that transport. So like one transport ship, not the fast transport, the regular transport boat would like it would hold 26 units, and then there goes 26 units. So like, let's just go through that really quickly. It's every naval battle is pretty much light ships versus Byrams. Byrams are inherently weaker than light ships. They did this on purpose. It's 160, so for every 4 light ships, you can beat 5 Byrams pretty much, because it's 200 versus 160. There's a little bit of math involved with that. You can like go into the harbor and then look at these numbers. It should be pretty obvious. So like if you had 80 light ships or like 79 light ships versus 100 biomes, your light ships would die and there would be like 1 or 2 biomes left. And then even if you sent like 50, like a fleet of 50 transport boats and like a shit ton of land units, you're gonna lose a lot of those. And then you're a noob, basically. Everyone's gonna laugh at you. The people in this game have been playing this for a while, and they're just gonna be like, "What a noob." So don't do that. Okay, the reason why flying units are OP, right? I had to explain that is because flying units hit land without going through the navy. You literally fly over the fucking navy and then hit the land units. Okay, and that's gonna be important later. So it's the mana cores. This is ridiculous. It's 45 per unit for 1,000 sharp damage, right? There's like harpies. Some hardcore players, they go for the griffins. I don't know why. I guess it's because it's blunt. Okay, let's go over the battle system there though. Well, this is alright. Every unit has a kind of attack. There are 3 kinds of attacks. Alright, there's blunt, there's sharp, and there's ranged. Okay, so like for example, swordsmen have 5 blunt. Archers have 8 like ranged or distance. Hoplites have sharp, right? And so there, it's solved basically. Like this game is solved. There's no reason to be attacking with archers, and there's no reason to be attacking with certain units. Okay, the way in which you determine that is you divide the amount of damage they do by the amount of population they cost. Okay, so like slingers are incredibly efficient because they're 23 for 1, right? 23 distance for 1 population. So you can build like 10 slingers and you get 230 ranged, right? And then when someone's defending against you, if you do 230 range with 10 slingers, and they have like a couple units in there, let's just say swordsmen defend for 30 against range, so the swordsmen have the slingers dominated. Basically, it's like what, 30 divided by 23. You like swordsmen have like 1.3, right? Like you would need 1.3 slingers to kill a swordsman. Right, that's some hella efficiency. So if your opponent's only attacking you with slingers, you just want swordsmen because you just have them dominated, right? Plus you can get like a city wall and things like that eventually, if you need. So that's an example of how you should just know these things, right? So then how do you circumvent that? Okay, well swordsmen are weak to sharp, so you might build like right, they got 8 defense, so you might build like a hoplite. Hoplites do 16. So every hoplite can kill 2 swordsmen. Okay, but then you expect them to go for sharp. So not only do you build swordsmen, you build archers now. And archers have 25 defense, right, against this bullshit. So archers can have like a 1 point something return against hoplites. And then when you have multiple different kinds of units attacking each other, it does the maths somehow. Like let's just have like a pretend battle. So you got like 30 or like 10 swordsmen versus 10 slingers. Like obviously the fucking swordsmen are gonna win. Okay, so then you throw in like a couple of these dudes. All right, these guys win. And then now you got these dudes. Boom. Right, but like the numbers won't be like this. It's not gonna be like this. It's gonna be fucking thousands. Right? You're gonna have a slinger nuke. Right? I have a city that has a slinger nuke. Right? Let's just scroll through here. Right? I've got 1,200 fucking slingers. So like. You're fucked unless you have, okay, let's say you have about these or this amount, and like I don't know, this would be a basic amount of defense units. Like I still just nuked your city, thanks, you know. Now your city's gone. Blah blah blah. Right, that's very important. Pretty much the only offense units you want to make. This is specifically geared towards like new players that joined me. Make slingers and make horsemen. Horsemen requires like a level 10 barracks, which I think you get. Horsemen are very efficient because blunt damage. There are no units that do blunt damage other than swordsmen, horsemen, and this guy, as well as like mythical units. But we'll talk about that later. Okay, horsemen is your only access to blunt. Everyone can defend against distance. Everyone can defend against sharp because these are the 2 most common defense units. 30 distance and then 25 sharp. But you'll notice neither of them really have good blunt defense. Okay, this guy does though, right? He's got 4 more than the swordsman, but no one likes producing hoplites because they're annoying. They literally just take all your silver, and silver can go into your cave, right? And in general, it's just not a good unit. for attacking. You pretty much only use it for defense against horsemen, right? So by making horsemen, you force them to build this shit. But even though they do that, like, you still have them dominated because horsemen are 3 for 60, so you get a 20 per 1, right? And this is 18. So, do you see what I mean? So, like, it's important to understand, like, the difference between certain units and, like, the effectiveness. Okay, the only way to really defend against this properly is by going for chariots, which have 76 blunt for 4, right? Do the math on that. That's like 19. That's somewhat efficient, right? They actually hit pretty hard. But they do cost 4, and they do cost a lot of resources to produce, right? It's this whole, like, how far are you willing to go to counter the opponent, and do you even have access to that information is the question. Sometimes you don't even have access to that information. Sometimes you have to, like, guess, you know, but you don't always have to. There are things that are available to you, like gods that have spells to tell you what units they're sending at you. But, like, this is, you glean info, right? Like, you can espionage or send spy reports on people, which I did earlier. Let me go and show that for a moment. Right, so, like, you can spy on people. You can send. I was talking about, like, silver, right? Like, this is why you want silver. So you can send, if your amount of silver is above their amount of silver in their cave, you get a spy report on the whole city. I'll show that. Like I get, like, the whole report here. So this guy has no units in the city, right? And you can check over here. Okay, well, now I see how many units he's got, the resources and levels of all his buildings, etc., etc. Okay, let's go through the rest of the buildings. Sorry, there are a lot of tangents to go on, honestly. It's like one thing leads to another too often. Okay, the temple. This is where you worship gods. You choose a god to worship. You just go here, and, like, I've got all 6 gods because I've got more than 6 cities, so I worship. You should worship all 6 of them. If you're gonna ask which god to worship, just look through the spells. Honestly, I would just recommend going for Hera. She gives, like, resource spells. Some of them give resources. Some of them give different effects. Like, you can speed up recruitment of, like, the harbor and shit, and, like, the amount of land units. Sometimes you get random spells that give you stuff, like units. Mostly the resource ones you want to get: Hera, Artemis, Hades, and Zeus. Or sorry, Poseidon. Those are pretty important. Don't worry about that too much. Just choose one god and then use the fucking spells when they're applicable. Okay, and the higher level your temple is, the more favor you produce. Right, that's important. You produce passively, right? You generate resources passively, and you also generate favor passively, right? So this is protection per hour. So in an hour from now, I've got, like, 25.1, so I would have 45.1 favor on Hera. That's something important. Really quickly, farming villages. What I'm doing right now is I'm using the overlay to collect from the farming villages. If you don't have access to this shit, this is you can pay money to get this, but I just got, like, a package right at the start of the game. You get offered a package, and if you're really gonna get into this, you should buy it. It's super efficient. Normally when you get into the game and you're like, you don't have access to that, you would have to click on this, and then you have to click collect, and then you click on this and collect, and then click on this and collect, or you can, like, scroll here and collect, scroll and collect. But in this case, I have 6 fucking cities, so I'm not gonna click. What is it? Okay, you click on a city, or you start at a city, click, click, click. That's 3 times 6, 18, and then you gotta select another. So I gotta select 6 other cities. I mean, actually, no, I have quite a few. It's a lot of clicks, right? So in this case, I just go boom, 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 blah, 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 right? So when you get enough cities, it's like, it's just not reasonable to try and, oh, okay, hold on. Sorry, because I'm literally playing the game while I'm doing this. This is, okay. Let's go and attack him. Now let's go through the rest. Okay, this is a good example of, like, when you actually get into the game and you have fucking units to attack people. I don't know if he's sleeping, but he's got a lot of hoplites, right? And they're weak to fucking. They've got only 7 range defense. Yeah, he's got some swordsmen and archers, but, like, that's not gonna do shit against me. I'm about to send everything. Right, and I also got a hero. I got Medea. Let me put this. Oh, right, heroes. God, there's so much to go through. This might be entertaining though, just watching me play. I don't know. Level 4. Nice, I save about 150 units. That's insane. Plus, I have phalanx. Plus, I have, I'm gonna do Athena. Okay, boom. I'm not gonna use anything else on that. Nice, save 120 there. That's insane. Okay, hopefully this guy's fucking sleeping and doesn't dodge this attack. Oh shit. Here we go. Oh, we're getting that on the dot. Oh, fuck, we can't get our catapults, huh? Guess we're gonna have to throw some of these away. Nice, good math right there. Let's see. How fast is my other attack? Get there first, right? Okay, so yeah, I'm clearing his Byroms with my light ships, so then I can escort my other city's units in, so they can just fucking smash through and kill all these units. Okay, if he was smart, he would pull his Byroms, and then he would pull it back, and then he would. I don't want to explain dodging attacks right now. I'll do that after. That's like a super advanced, like you're paying attention 24/7 sort of thing, right? Or at least in that moment. Okay, the rest of this shit. Harbor, Barracks, Temple, very simple. They're like second tier. This builds boats. This builds units, land units. This allows you to do shit with gods. Warehouse. Okay, that's the amount of resources you can hold. So at the start of the game, you can only hold like about 1,000 or so, and then that gets up to 30k, right? That just means that you can like build other buildings. Eventually, they get to pretty high costs. In this case, it's 6k per resource, pretty much. This is like fucking insane. They all cost different sorts of resources. So like cave would be focused on silver, or like the harbor, you need a lot of wood. Makes sense. Like the city wall requires a lot of stone, things like that. You'll get used to that. So the warehouse, you should level up the warehouse alongside your city, pretty much. Just get like, let's say every 5 buildings you increase the warehouse by 1. Right? You don't actually have to follow that. I don't know that for a fact, but it's a good habit to always scale the farm and the warehouse with that, because don't bottleneck yourself. Don't ever be at 0 population, right? Don't ever be at like max resources if possible, right? So farm, warehouse, always put these up alongside each other. They take a long fucking time, they're boring to build, but you got to do it. Okay, this is the exciting part. Academy. The academy gives you research, okay, and it caps out at 36, and you get a limited amount of research points. This is the entire research page. All right, you're gonna wonder, what research is important, Eric? Well, that's a good question. No, like seriously, that's a good question. I can't even answer it, right? Some cities do specialize, but I'm going to talk about some of the important. I'm going to go through everything, okay? Slingers, you want this shit, probably. If you're ever going to have an offense city, always develop slingers, okay? Hands down, very easy. Don't build archers if you're not trying to be a defense city. You want your cities to specialize. You can't get every single one of these. Like even in my main city, I don't have enough research points. I'm going to have to reset some of these later, right? But I got sling archers, and it cost fucking 8 research because I thought I'd get attacked. So I built that. Militia. Okay, really quickly, let's go through that. When you're gonna get hit, go to your farm, enlist militia. This just gives you free units to defend yourself with, right? This is so that like newer players can also get a little bit of help. And in general, it's a good habit to actually like militia anytime you're getting attacked, because they don't get any battle points for that, and you get free battle points because you have a stronger defense. Okay, we'll talk about battle points later. It's pretty much how you advance your cities. So this just makes it so that you get a little bit more militia. Hoplites, don't do this unless you're specifically trying to make a hoplite nuke. What I mean by a nuke is like you get thousands of 1 unit. Okay, and that just empowers it. It's kind of like if you have 1 unit, you have 1 times the amount of like damage you would do, right? If you have 2 units, you have 2 times. Eventually, when it gets to like 200, it's not 200 times. It's like 205 like times, sort of. The more of a unit you have, the more concentrated it is. I don't know how to describe it. It's like 500 slingers versus 1,000 slingers. You would think 1,000 slingers would only be 2 times as effective, but it's actually a lot more. It actually ends up being a lot more when you're like, they do the math somehow. It's just like they're all hitting at once. It's simulated pretty much. I don't fucking know. Sorry. Okay. Meteorology. Don't do this. Don't build this unless you're using flyers. Okay. All troops from barracks includes the flyers, right? Includes shit like manticores or harpies, right? We talked about flying units. Don't build this unless you're specifically gonna do flyers, because at some point, all the slots on your island, unless you're on an island where it's like it's you versus like your enemies, don't build this shit. Okay, don't research this, right? And even after you conquer your enemies, hopefully, you got to reset this, right? This is useless unless you have flyers or you're on an island with your opponents. Because yeah, like the speed is nice, but doesn't kick into effect at some point. Okay, espionage. This is okay when you're spying on people. Let's say you send 1,000 silver coins, it just becomes 1,200. All right, it's very simple. Villagers loyalty, just get this. No matter what, get this. Okay, ceramics. This is like getting a level in your warehouse. You kind of want it. Yeah, it's really nice, especially in the early game. Horsemen, we talked about that. Strongest, or one of the strongest units to use for attacking. Get architecture, no matter what. No contest. This is important if you're not doing like a naval city. Anytime you're building land units, just put this in the city. Trainer. Barracks, this is the defense naval ship. It's kind of a good idea to have Barracks enabled on every city, in my opinion, because at any moment you might need to build like naval ships to support yourself, support others. Otherwise, like if you want a pure offense city, go ahead. If you have like 20 fucking cities and you can specialize some into like purely slingers, boom, boom, all barracks and stuff and damage on land, then don't build this. Otherwise, like for your first couple cities, you might want Barracks. Crane, just get this. Okay, shipwright. Anything that deals with ships, like speed, like increasing the amount of or decreasing the amount of time it takes to build something. Just like think about whether or not you're going to be building that colony ship. It costs no research points. Get this on your first city. Get it. You don't have to get on the second or third. You want your first city to be able to produce colony ships. This is how you actually make your second city. Okay, you need the colony ship. We'll talk about that in depth actually. Chariots. Don't build this unless you're trying to do a defense city and you're building against horsemen, right? Light ships. This is your offense naval ship. Get this if you're if you're making your city like an offense city. That isn't like a mythical flyer only. Conscription, land units. You guys get it by now, right? Like if you're building in land units, get the fucking thing. Fire ships. This is kind of a troll thing. It's a defense ship. It literally like sacrifices itself to take one of their thing, their light ships, or whatever fucking thing they're attacking you with. And this is where like that previous point about X amount of units not equaling X amount of damage comes into play. Okay, so if you have 80 fire ships and they have 80 light ships, there's a 1-to-1 ratio there. It takes all of the light ships. Okay, so no side wins. All right, if you have 81 fire ships and they have 80 light ships, then one of your fire ships survives. Okay, they literally just sacrifice themselves. That's the thing. So then you'd ask, okay, well, what's the point in building Barracks if 80 Barracks can't even defend, right? Because they're 160. All right, 80 times 160. Let's do that. Boom. Let's go through the math real quick, right? And then 80 times 200. So like obviously light ships at 1,600 damage versus 1,200 and 800. 12,000. Sorry, 16,000 versus 12,800. The fuck is this? 12,800. Like the Barracks are gonna lose, right? The Barracks are gonna 100% lose. Okay, so then like, well, why would you build Barracks then? It's like, is the resource cost? It's like, no, not even that. Like they're pretty similar in resource, if not less, for the fire ships. Okay, here's why you build Barracks instead of fire ships. Okay, let's say now you have 100 Barracks versus 100 fire ships. Okay, your 100 fire ships will take all 80 of those light ships, and you'll have 20 remainder, right? We'll do this in the simulator. I'll show you. This is very good demonstration. So let's have 80 light chips, right? Boom. Okay, it's gonna take 80. You're gonna have 20 remainder, right? Now if we do the Byrams, let's see. Okay, so okay, actually that's the exact amount. Actually, that's literally the exact amount. So it's 100, right? You would lose on the Byrams. So it's like, okay, well, 100 fire ships versus 100 Byrams. Obviously, you would want that, right? You would want the fire ships. Okay, now let's amp it up to 200. Let me show you. Right? Okay, so you still have 120 remainder. Boom. Right? Now it's getting a little closer. Okay, you have 113 remainder. How come the number goes a little bit different? It's because the more units you have stacked, the more effective the entire group is. So let's say you have 500, right? Okay, 420 remainder, 500 biomes, right? Whoa, where did this come from? Now we have 428 remainder. Now you are like at an advantage against the fire ships. Right? So it's like, well, maybe it's not so worth it because you have to build so fucking many Byroms to actually like have it be worth it. Now that's where you'd be wrong, because at some point in the late game, if you're playing with Alliance versus Alliance warfare, where you have like 10 people that have like 20 cities each, and they have like 300 Byroms on like a couple of the cities, right? That's like how much you can max. You can get like 400 or something like that. You will encounter situations where you'll hit a siege. A siege is how you conquer things, and then you'll just want like 10,000 fucking Byroms, right? Because like you're gonna want to stack that city with fucking Byroms. You don't want your colony ship, that one colony ship, to get sunk, right? And then they're gonna hit you, and here's the important part: they're gonna hit you in waves of 300 each. Okay, this is like a max light ship nuke. You can only build up to like, unless you throw away every building, you can only build up to like 300 to 350 light ships, as far as I can remember. So they're gonna hit you like this, dude. Even though light ships have an advantage, 200 damage over 160 in the ratio of 4 to 5. Over Byroms, you can see now how they lose 300, and you only lose 194, right? So light ships now, instead of having like that ratio, or where they're like every 4 light ships equals 5 Byroms, like they only fight as if they were 3/5 of you, pretty much, or like whatever this fucking number. They only fight as if one light ship was 64% of a Byrom. Okay, that's so fucking important for late game, because they're not gonna hit you with 10,000 light ships. One city cannot hold 10,000 light ships. You gotta understand that. In order to break the siege, they're gonna have like 10 cities with 300 light ships each, and they're gonna chip away at this. Boom, right? Add surviving troops. Boom. Simulate. Add surviving troops. And then it's gonna whittle it down. But you see how the number, right? 199, 200, 201, 202. These Byroms are just killing, or they're slaying. How many waves did we just go through to get to 6,784? But if you have 10,000 of these motherfuckers, your opponents are just getting some solid returns every single wave. They're getting 300. They're chipping away every single time, right? They're gonna break this 10,000 fire ship siege faster than they were than if they were to try to beat this. Okay, that's very important. Okay, that's also why when you're trying to break like a siege against swordsmen, and let's say you have 200 or 300 slingers, right? You would think by doubling it, you would get double the amount of damage, right? Against 300, and it would be 342. I think with numbers like this, it would be like that. But no, you actually end up doing way more than double, right? Look at that again. You did 171 here, and you would think by doubling the amount of slingers, you go up to 342, because that's 171 times 2. But no, you actually get 53 more, right? So it's so important to recognize that, not only for defense but for attacking. When you stack something, when you stack a unit, it does more, right? So like that's so fucking important. The numbers are not super like linear. This is what I'm trying to say. Okay, that's why it's important to have nukes. All right, you don't want this like disgusting shit where if you were to allot someone 1,000 population, you tell them like, okay, attack this guy with 1,000 pop, right? You get like some sort of mixed attack like here. Okay, this compared to 708, you killed all your shit. This compared to a 1,000 nuke, right? Actually, that would have been better because swordsmen actually dominate this guy. You want mixed attacks against mixed defenses, but like it's gonna be more nuanced than this. They're not just gonna have 1,000 this. They're gonna have like fucking this here and like, you know, something like this shit. Okay, that's important. The combat system is very simple and yet it's elegant. I like it. Okay. City wall, very simple. The higher city wall, the higher percentage. Oh, right, we can go to the simulator again. The city wall affects the defense bonuses here. There are a lot of different things like luck. Okay, there's a variance in this game. When you attack someone, your luck can go from anywhere from -30 to 30. That just multiplies the amount of damage you do by the luck. So let's say you have 100, you get 30 luck. So your damage is 1.3. So every slinger fights as if it's 1.3 slinger, right? So in this case, you would actually be equal, right? Because we did the math earlier. One swordsman is 1.3 slingers. All right, let's say you get unlucky, -30. Now you killed only 5, as opposed to the regular, which would be 7, right? And there's also morale. Don't worry about that. That's just when you're hitting lower tier players. They purposely do that so that you can't like dominate lower tier players. Right, if you have 20 cities and they have 7, you do like, let's say 80% morale, right? But the city wall actually affects this. So let's say you have a 20 city wall, 10 versus 10. You only hit 2, right? And there are a bunch of other bonuses. There's like spells and shit. There's whether or not they have the different advantages from gold. If they have a tower, if you have certain research available, phalanx. If both sides have phalanx, right? If someone's got like a world active, you know, a world spell active or whatever, you know, a bunch of different shit. Okay, and then you calculate that. You actually end up going through this. When I do my attacks, I go and calculate that, right? You got to see those things. Okay. Right, the city wall affects that. The cave is how you end up getting. Okay, so like level 1 cave can hold 1,000 coins. Level 2 cave can hold 2,000 coins. But when you go from 9 to 10, when you get level 10 cave, you can hold an infinite amount of coins. This is how late game is played out. People get caves full of like fucking 300,000 coins or something. And the reason why you want to stack your cave is because if someone, like we said earlier, puts the amount of silver that is above your amount of silver, and it hits you with that spy, and they can't see that, it's invisible. The only way you can see or detect if you got spied on is if someone hit you with a spy and they had less coins than you, or they sent less coins than you have in your cave, and it actually reduces your cave by that amount. So let's say if you have 8,000, they sent 6,000, your new cave would be 2,000, right? So a lot of people end up doing this thing where they have a bunch of cities just send 1,000 each, and it just drains their fucking cave. So you send 36 times 1,000, and like your opponent had 35,000, and it would just spam his fucking ass with reports, right? And it's annoying as shit. Some people do it. I sometimes do that. I prefer to just throw like a chunk at them. I'm like, fuck it, I want the report really badly. I'm gonna just throw 36k at them, right? And then boom, I get it. But sometimes it can be a waste because sometimes it might only have like 5,000 coins. You don't know. And then you send like 100,000 thinking that they have a lot stacked on the cave, but they don't. And then you just wasted 95,000. Well, 94,999 technically. Okay, so it's a different level of mind game, which is great because it's just one function, and it's like, okay, how do we make use of that? All right. Marketplace, this is how you trade resources. You can trade with other people if you want. More importantly, you can trade with your farming villages. Okay, let's talk about the farming villages. The way you access them is you start the game with like none, and you have to use battle points. This is important. This is your battle points. This is like the other currency. Okay, you get battle points by killing people. If you kill 10 slingers, you get 10 battle points. All right. There's certain things that affect that, like whether or not you're attacking your own alliance. Sometimes you do that for internal takeovers. But generally, if you kill a unit, you're going to get that amount of population worth of battle points, okay? And you use that to get your farm villages. Notice it says level 6. It starts at level 1, and so level 1 to 2 would cost 1 battle point, level 2 to 3 would cost 5. and then 25, and then 50, and then 100. So the more shit you kill, the higher level your farmer village is going to be. Don't worry about it. They're going to give you a bandit camp to attack, and the bandit camp, right when you start the game, is how you get your most of your battle points, because it expects you to be on an island where a lot of this shit is beginner protected. Beginner protection is just like 5 to 7 days, depending on the world, where you can't get attacked. You can attack others, but it breaks your battle protection. Honestly, I just break that right away, because right when I start the worlds, I just like anyone that I see is available to attack, I attack them just for shit, right? The other important part about battle points is that you can use them for victory processions. This is so important. Look at this bar right here. You see how it says 98 out of 108? When you start the game, it's going to be 1 out of 3. Okay, the moment you hit the cap, in this case for me it's 108, you advance in a cultural level. Okay, the amount your cultural level refers to the amount of cities that you can have. You can see over here it says 9 out of 9. I have 9 out of the 9 available city slots. Okay, you start with 1, right, and then you get to 2, and then 3, etc., etc. Right, so every 300 battle points you organize a victory procession. It takes 3 hours, gives you a culture point. Culture points at some point when you hit the cap, it advances your cultural level. Your cultural level gives you more available cities, right? So I need 10 more. I have 3 in progress right here. I need 10 more. Once I hit 108, this turns into 9 out of 10. And then what I want to do is I want to build a colony ship over here. This is important. Remember, we talked about the research. I build a colony ship, and I can either colonize on these little slots here. Don't ever do this. I only have 1 just because I started the game, and then I wanted to plant 1 there for Byron's. You'll see like some islands have open city slots, like here, right? You can colonize, and you send your colony ship. Boom, that makes a new city. It takes a lot of time. The colony ship fucking crawls like a turtle. It'll take 5 hours in real life, 5 hours or something like that, or like it depends on the distance, really, right? And then after it lands, it takes 12 hours, half a day, to actually make the city. This is just so that the game doesn't just immediately. You're supposed to play this over like months, is the idea, and then get to the World Wonder stage, which is very exciting. I'm gonna let you know, very exciting. Okay, but the other thing that you can do is you can conquer motherfuckers. All right, and the way in which you do that is you research conquest. Oh, right, we have to go through the rest of the stuff. Okay, and you'll get to conquest later. You see how the colony ship is here and conquest is there? This is so that people colonize early and then they conquest eventually, right? But some people rush level 28 academy, get conquest, and they just start taking over. They just, you know what I mean? Your city looks nice, give me that, right? So you can do that, and we'll talk about conquest later. Let's go through the rest of the shit here. Okay. Yeah, we stopped at fire ships and went on the whole tangent. Catapults are very good for knocking down the city wall. It's kind of nuanced. That's pretty much all you gotta know. Catapults, they're really good for knocking down walls. So if you know they have a really big wall, build a lot of catapults. Cryptography, I should be getting this. This is so that when they hit you with like 1,000 silver, and you have, let's say, 2,000 silver, you lose 10% less. So you only lose 900. Right, so then your new amount is 1,100. You guys get that? If they send 1,000, it turns into 900. If they send 10,000, it turns into 9,000. Right, it's 10% less. This is just efficiency. Democracy, don't take this. This is basically like you're accepting the fact that you're a noob and you're gonna get taken over. Fast transport ships as opposed to regular transport ships. Okay, so the unit speed. Every unit has a speed associated with it. Okay, this is 16. Fast transport ships go about 30. Right. This is important because sometimes like you're gonna go across the ocean and you're gonna attack people like 7 hours away. Let's just go there. Let's just, you know. Okay, I want to attack this guy. Right. This guy's fucking far. So far, 4 hours and 30 minutes. Right, as opposed to 2 hours and 20 minutes or something like that. Okay. However, it's not dominated. It's not like an absolute domination here. Transport ships transport less. Okay, transport boats give 26. Right, you can fit 26 motherfuckers on it. And fast transports only fit 16. But there's a research underneath that, okay? Bunks. Both ships transport 6 additional. So, actually, fast transports only transport 10. So, somewhat inefficient. But when you get bunks, it's really nice numbers actually. Transport boats give 32, and fast transports give 16. So you can see how for every for every 1 transport ship, you can cover the amount of units as 2 fast transports. But then there's a difference in population, right? So this costs 7 and this costs 5. So you would be technically inefficient if you were to do fast transports, but you're doing that on purpose, fully knowing that you can get this speed bonus. Okay. But it doesn't actually end up mattering too much because the attack is based on the slowest speed in the troop. So let's go through that with like these units, okay? So like let's say it's a horseman. This motherfucker is fast. He's at 44. You want to attack someone with 44 speed, okay? Let's go over here. Boom. Takes 11 minutes. All right, these guys run at a 44 speed. But if I send a fucking catapult with them, now it's an hour and 13 because catapults are the slowest motherfuckers ever. All right, that's important. It won't matter so much because on a boat, it doesn't matter. It goes by the speed of the boat. Okay. So that's why it's important to have fast transports over slow transports. Because well, you don't want to send both. You only want to send one type because remember, it goes by the slowest. So you'll think it's like, okay, well, it'll go by 14, but really it's going to go by the light ships because you're going to be escorting with light ships. So it's only a difference of 10 speed, right? Very quickly. That's the kind of thinking that you got to have. It's like, well, do I want to hit them at this time? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Just a really quick lowdown on that. Plow, get it. Just get it. Don't ask questions. Triumphs. Okay, this is a good question actually. So triumphs are like what do I do with them? Are they worth it? Triumphs attack and defend. 250, 250. So they have light ships dominated, and they have Barracks dominated. They defend as well as Barracks, and they attack as well as Barracks. Now your question is going to be, well, why don't I just only build triumphs? Okay, good question. It costs 16. Okay, for 16 population, you could have built 2 Barracks. And then you'd be like, okay, well, I mean, they're good for defending, and you know what? They can attack too. So that they're somewhat worth it. And you'd be like, no, because you could have just built. Let's do the math here, right? You guys remember lowest common multiple or something? 16 times 10, and then 10 times 16. All right. So let's get 16 light ships. Right, 16 times 200. That's 3,200, right? And then you get 250 times 10, 2,500. So if you were to build the amount of triumphs in Barracks, you would get more defense value. And if you would build the same amount of, like if you were to try to equal the amount of population, right? Because this is 10, this is 16. Triumphs get beat no matter what. The only benefit in them is that you can defend and attack with them. So you would send it with your colony ship wave. What I mean by that is you're going to attack them with a triumph. And then the moment you win the siege, you win the naval battle and you win the land battle. Your city that sends the siege at them. The siege is basically any attack with a colony ship. The game recognizes that you want to conquer the shit if you send a colony ship, right? So you hit them with a triumph, use the attack value, and then you sit those boats there for the defense value after. That's the only time it's going to be useful, right? Don't build these boats. Just stack these if you want damage, stack these if you want defense, okay? That's important. Phalanx, if you're using land units, use them. Or get this, Phalanx. You just get 10% extra, right? 10 slingers equals 11. Don't get breakthrough. Mathematics lowers the resource cost of ships by 10. You pretty much want to get this on any city, really. Because you're going to be building ships no matter what. Whether it's transports, Barracks for defense, or light ships for attack, right? Battering ram, get this. Unless you're using mythical only. Okay? Cartography, 10% faster. Just get this. You just want to get the boats, dude. Like, every city should be able to produce boats, unless you're doing only flyers, once again. Conquest, get this on any city that you're intending to build colony ships and conquest on. Okay? You don't need multiple conquest cities. Like, eventually you might, to get closer to your enemy, but you don't actually have to have every city have conquest and colony ship. I literally only have my main city as the city that conquers shit. Every other city is specialized, right? That way I can be super efficient about it. Ooh, this is exciting because we might actually get to the point where my attack goes through in 2 minutes. Ooh, okay. and then my other attacks can land soon. All right, Stonehill. This is for catapults. This just don't get it unless you're building catapults. Temple looting. This is for mythical units. This is very important. If you have like 40 harpies, okay, and then you attack them, and 5 harpies die, but 35 harpies survive. 35 times 5, right? You got 175 favor. This is the favor. Okay, you see this number 41. When you can get a cap of 500 favor. All right. So if you hit them and they have like 300 favor of their god, you just steal that shit. You just you know what I mean. You just take that shit. It's so troll. Divine selection, mythical units. Very self-explanatory. You get this research if you have mythical units, right? Always get this. Always get battle experience. You just get more battle points in general. Strong wine, city festival, Olympic games. Okay, let's go through that. So the victory procession is not the only way to get culture points. There are 4 ways. There are 4, right? There are pretty much only 2 main ways. Victory procession, when you attack people, battle points, and this is like the cost, right? This is like gold. This costs like the actual currency, which I have some, so I'm doing that. And it costs resources to get, like a shit ton of resources to get a culture point. Which at some point, right, when your warehouse is large enough, and if you're willing to spend 15,000 timber and stone and blah blah blah, you get that. In order to get the theater, you'd be like, wait, why don't I just do the theater instead of this? Because like the resource costs are less. It's because you actually end up having to build a fucking. You have to build the theater to do. Oh shit! I'm not building anything here. Fuck. Inefficiency. Don't not be building stuff. So you got to build this shit, and you don't want that. Okay, we'll go through that later. I'm saying that a lot, actually. Some cities, at some point, when you have like 20 cities, you just turn them into fucking culture point slaves, and then you don't build anything. You just fucking resource up, warehouse, do this, and then every 8 hours you just hit this button, hit that button, and then go AFK. Right? So, some people do that, sure. I mean, I would if I have fucking like 50 cities to manage or something. Just make my clicks less, right? It's less efficient overall. But as a human that has to do things like eat and sleep and do other shit, yeah, you probably want to not do that. Okay. Ooh, let's get ceramics too. Fuck, man, it's a bug. Go here. Oh, I got the report. Okay, I just slammed 40 of his Barracks and I lost 32 light ships, but I just gained 352 points. Okay, this is so nice because I can finally fucking build my fucking stupid fucking farming villages. God damn, dude. Holy shit. Upgrading. Quick. It's just a man. Let's do this quickly. I don't want to go to the overview. Okay. Oh, bless. Finally. Fuck. Fucking A. So angry for the longest time because I got a new city and I didn't have enough to goddamn make the farming villages. Right, when you conquer or like civilize colonize somewhere, you gotta actually build the shit. They go easy on you for your first city, but like it costs 100 fucking battle points to make one goddamn farming village eventually. Okay, what was I going through? Yeah, do this if you're gonna have a slave city. Set sail. This just makes it so that you can conquer shit or like arrive at your destination that you're trying to conquer 10% faster. Do it on your conquer cities. I don't have any research points. I'm actually gonna refund some of this shit. Yeah, I gotta reset, which costs culture points. Sucks. Okay, that's all the research. Ooh, okay. Special buildings. Let's just go to one that doesn't have all the special buildings. Right, theater, we talked about that. Thermal baths. This is self-explanatory. You get 10% more pop. If you have 3,000 population, you get 3,300. It's 10% of 3,000 is 300, and then you add that to the original. Okay, pretty much always get this. This is important because you just have an army that's that much larger. Library. Don't worry about this. Don't get this. Lighthouse, these are the only 2 options. Thermal baths and lighthouse. Lighthouse makes it so that your ships are 50% faster when it comes from that city. Okay, so some cities you might have lighthouse, some cities you might not. Then you just opt in thermal baths. It's safer to just go for thermal baths pretty much all the time, but if you do have some cities that are like nukes, like lighthouse nukes, or sorry, yeah, lightship nukes, you want that shit to like travel across the ocean really quickly, right? So you stack the cartography, which is 10%, this 15%, and then you go like, then you use like the active, like the fleet thingy. I was gonna say fleet footwork, which increases the speed by 30%, right? So then you can get to your target quickly. Um, it's not too important because you can time attacks. So like if you have two cities and one city will hit a city or like your opponent in 3 hours and the other will hit in 5 hours, you want to send the 5 hour attack first, and then 2 hours later you send the 3 hour attack. You get what I mean? So then both attacks land at pretty much the same time. You can time that shit. It takes real world, like there are real world consequences to this, but it's not like you just wait 2 hours, dude. It's fine. Go do something else, play a league game, go stream or whatever, and then tab out and hit that. Right? It's just you have to remember. So you don't actually have to have speed, unless it's like, fuck, my alliance member is getting attacked right now, and unless I have a lighthouse, unless I had a lighthouse, you're not gonna build it and then fucking send something unless you want to use a lot of gold. Um, then you would need that, okay? But like, it's better to just have thermal baths. The game is thankfully a lot slower paced. It's not going to be that intense, and when it is, it's like you set up your cities with your alliance in such a way that you don't need that shit, okay? Like, you're gonna have enough cities nearby, hopefully, to support one another. That's important. So just go with default thermal baths if you can. Otherwise, if you're having like a conquered city, just go lighthouse. It's easy. Tower. This increases your city wall or your defense by 10%. That's nuts. That's actually like a free phalanx. But I'm not building city walls. That's like super advanced. That's like super advanced. Like with your alliance coordination, so you're not building city walls, so that when you get sieged, you can backsnipe and right, etc. Just don't worry about that. Don't build the tower. Go with divine statue. It's very simple. You get 12 levels in the temple, and then you send it to 24. Well, it has to be 21 technically, but you want to get it to 24. This just increases the amount of favor that you get. Every city I've made so far, I just give a divine statue because you just get hella favor production. You want favor. You want it, dude. Spells are really OP. Oracle, don't get this. This is stupid. This is pretty much when you get spied on, you'll know. But like the fact that you know that they know their shit or your shit, like it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Like whatever. They're probably gonna like just expect them to bomb your cave anyway, especially when you don't have like too much. I don't even have anything in my cave here. They can just spy me and I won't even know, right? But that wouldn't help me to know that they knew. Like I would just dodge the attack anyway, right? Merchant shop. This is for super late game where you do world wonders. World wonders are how the server resolves or like someone wins. Don't worry about that for now. You just send like it just makes so that you can send more resources to people, right? So if you can send like 5,000 resources, now you can send like 7,500 resources, right? Just go with thermal and then divine statue. Trust, big trust. Okay, those are all the buildings. What's next? Expansion, perhaps. Some of you guys are, well, all of you guys only have one city. Expand as much as you can, whenever you can, pretty much. That's the idea. You don't want to build on shit islands. How do you tell if it's a shit island? Well, if it's a small one, smaller-ish one, if it doesn't have these farming village things on it, don't go there pretty much, because it won't be worth it. You want the farming villages to give you resources. The reason why I'm not collecting it right now is because I want to collect them all at the same time. Actually, I can collect this one. Where's Canaan? Yeah. Because it's shit. It's got 5 minutes. All right, really quickly. Villager loyalty. I said to get it immediately. It just makes it so that instead of collecting every 5 minutes for 100%, you're collecting every 10 minutes for 115%. Right? So like you would think, oh, I'll collect 5 minutes twice in the time of 10 minutes. It's like, no, the 10 minutes is doubled plus 115%. So it's just nice. It's just nice to people in general to have that. Okay, we're gonna collect here. I've done that a couple times in this video. You guys should be quite aware of this now. Alright, so I'm getting 1,026, and for the 5 minutes I'm only, well, it's because they're all low level. I'm only getting 192. Any further questions you can probably ask in the Discord. This is a long fucking video. This is kind of fun actually. It's just an hour-long video. Like no one from League would watch this. They'd just be like, what is this shit? Or if it's interesting, like, okay, sure, you can watch. I mean, I'm not stopping you. I'm not stopping you, but I'm just saying. I'm actually gonna build a colony ship right now because I'm anticipating getting a lot of battle points in a moment. Actually, in 17 minutes, I'm gonna hit him with fucking. I'm gonna nuke the shit out of this guy. Fucking nuke him, dude. Alright, the event. I don't want to explain that. Just hit the participate button and send units into here to get the stuff. The ratio, you have to maintain a certain ratio. So I'm at the ratio is 67%, 8%, 25%. So from the max, so like 6 plus 18, 24, 24 plus 48, 48 divided by 72. We're at just about 67%, 6 divided by 72. Right, 8%, 18. Right, so we're at some good values here. All right, but now when we add the skill point, it goes from 72 to 73. So we're just gonna have to divide that. We're at perfect 70 or 67. Some people have like the knowledge of these events, and someone just shared that with me, the perfect ratio. So I just did that. If I were to do 19. 74, what would that do? 25, 49, 74, 66. Okay, I'm just gonna increase this by 1 instead. We're gonna do that. I gotta micromanage that. Don't worry about that too much when you're starting the game. The event's gonna close in a bit anyway. It's only a bit 1 day. And they give you a little bit to spend your laurels after. Oh, island quests, right. And heroes. Fuck, I forgot about heroes. Okay, whenever you do an island quest, it gives you 2 options. There's the option that gives you the red coins, and there are options that give you the blue coins. The red coins are for a specific type of hero, the attack heroes, and the blue coins are for the utility heroes. Okay, so here's my cast of heroes. This is the icon: hero wisdom, hero wisdom, hero wisdom, hero of war, blah blah blah. Okay, so the red ones are the hero war, and the blue ones are the hero wisdom. Okay, I'll quiz you later. Just kidding. They're used to not only buy them. So like, for example, Medea cost 40 coins, and I have 33 right here, and like I bought it earlier, so it's gonna say this right here. You can only buy 1 every day, or every 24-hour cycle, I should say. Which is a day, but like they go off of specific numbers like that. They're like that. And they're also used to upgrade. You see these bars? So I have 33, I can upgrade her right now. Okay, or I can I have 28 coins here, I can upgrade Daedalus, right? And use coins. It increases everything, the stats. But for heroes of wisdom, you're just trying to get this stat right here. You don't care about like attacking. This guy goes from 16, he's like a hoplite, right? He's gonna be like a little bit stronger than a hoplite. He's useless, right? This guy's, you know what I mean? Like, you're not using them to attack people, right? Like, you want to send them, sure, if you need them, but like the hero of war, like this guy does fucking 665, like, right? And this guy does a shit ton. This guy does a little bit, but like, he's good for his effect, right? You can see all the heroes here. They all do a myriad of things. Every Grepolis player that's played this for a while, they just know. You just drop the name and like they'll know, like, oh, okay, right? What heroes do you want to get? Well, good question. Get any hero of war, okay? And there are 2 hero wisdoms that you want to prioritize. If you ever see them, go for them. Orpheus and Democritus. They are important, okay? Because they can just, they're OP. Alright? They can give you 2 culture points for this guy, for example. And this guy can, like, whenever you use a spell, you can get double. So let's say you get a spell that gives you like 10 hoplites every hour. Right? So now it gives you 10 hoplites every 2 hours. Or sorry, every hour for 2 hours, right? So like if you get a late game when you get like enough points, You'll get shit from island quests or anything really that'll give you like fucking 50 hoplites per hour for 8 hours. And then when you have this guy in the city, there's a 22% chance, and you upgrade that so it gets to like 40% or something like that. I don't know, somewhere there. And it's like now it's 50 hoplites per hour for 16 hours. So you just made 800 hoplites over a day for free, pretty much. All you needed was this dude, right? Or you have a city cranking out fucking Victory Procession, Theater Play, Olympic Games, City Festival all at once, right? You can do them all at once, and you have this motherfucker, and he doubles each and every one of them. So instead of 4 points, you got 8, and that's so important late game, right? Because you need culture points to get more cities. Look at this bullshit. Some of these fuckers, okay. So I started this world a little bit later, right? This fucker has 22 cities, right? You'll think that's a lot. Right, you'll probably think there's a lot. He's got 214,000 points. Worlds end when people are at like 3 million, 4 million, and they have like 200 cities. Like, how do you even micromanage that? So like, it's pretty important. But when you get to that point, you're a badass. You are the badass, dude. You are the ocean, right? That's the idea. You are the ocean, right? So like, if I got to that point, I'd have this entire island. All of this would be me. All this would be me. Right, like all this. Some players are like that, dude. Some of them go ham, right? Especially when you start the game early. But it's not like you can't catch up, because if you're smart and you take out people with your alliance, you can grow with your alliance, and you'll be good. That's everything, right? That's simulator. Went through battle. Oh my god. Okay, sieging. This is so important. Conquering. This is crazy, because you can have a whole alliance fight over one city, and that's like thousands and thousands of units. Okay, so here's a timeline of events, like a basic timeline of events. If I want to attack this guy and I want to take his city, okay, it'll take 2 hours and 21 minutes and 14 seconds. If I send that, this is what my opponents are going to do. So let's say, okay, it'll land at 17 hours, or 5 p.m. 5:49, and like it goes down to the second. Okay, if I sent it now, let's just say it would go at 17:50, right? 0 seconds. What your opponents are going to do, they can either front snipe it or back snipe it. Okay, a front snipe on a colony ship, they call it the CS, is stacking your city with biomes, so that it'll kill the colony ship in the water, okay? Or you can stack it with land, so then they don't win the land battle. You can do both. All right. Now here's the thing: if you stack your city before that colony ship lands, what they're gonna do, okay, what the attacking alliance is gonna do is, right before it hits, right, this number 1750 at right 0 seconds. They're going to time every single one of their attacks, the naval ships and all the damage, for this right here. They're going to try to hit you a second before, right? But here's why you can't do that properly. It's because there's an anti-timer. If I send an attack and it takes, let's say, 36 minutes, 26 seconds, there's a variance, okay? Just like the luck factor, there's a variance. It goes between negative 10 seconds to 10 plus 10 seconds. So your attack could go from anywhere from 36 minutes and 16 seconds to 36 minutes and 36 seconds, okay? That just makes it so that you can't get perfect snipes. The people that made Grepolis were so fucking knowledgeable of what players would do, they realized they had to add an anti-timer. They realized that people were sniping so fucking effectively, like, fuck, you gotta add some variance. So here's the idea. If your colony ship lands at this exact moment, you want to send your attack here, okay? Just in case it goes plus 10 and it goes like this, all right? Now you could get unlucky and you could get minus 10 and you hit 21 seconds beforehand. Now that attack is a dud. You just know, because what the opponents are going to do is they're going to pull every unit from the city. There are going to be no units from the city, right? Or in the city. Because if there's any units in the city and you attack them 5 minutes, 10 minutes beforehand, those attacks that happen 5 minutes or 10 minutes before the colony ship lands, they will kill your units. You don't want your units to just go to nothing, right? Yeah, you'll defend it, but you're defending against nothing. You want to defend against the colony ship. They're going to pull every single unit, and they're going to return the units or send the units to the city so that it also lands right here. Okay? They're going to try to snipe it. They're going to try to front snipe it. They don't want to lose their units to anything but the attack that has the colony ship in it. Okay? If there are 5 attacks and one of them is colony ship, the other 4 attacks, you let them hit your city. You just take it, right? Like, it doesn't do anything. It takes your resources. Maybe they knock down your wall, but they're not going to win the city unless the colony ship hits the fucking city. Okay? All right, let's say you don't front snipe it. Let's say you miss. Let's say all your timers fucking, like, you suck. You got unlucky. You sent it at 49, 52. You got unlucky, and then anti-timer to 02. So then the colony ship hit at 0 seconds, and then 2 seconds later, your attack landed. You're useless, or your support landed. You're useless. Okay. So that the danger in front sniping is that you won't get it. The danger in back sniping is the same thing. Okay. This is what's called a back snipe. Instead of supporting your own city, you're going to attack your own city. Okay, and here's why. You're going to pull all your support. You're going to let the colony ship land. You let it land on purpose because it's not going to conquer your city immediately. That's how conquests work. When the colony ship lands, it starts a 12-hour timer. After 12 hours, if the colony ship doesn't die, that city's yours. Okay? Now let's go with this. Same thing. It's going to land at 0 seconds. If you want to backsnipe it, you let that shit land, and then you time every attack to land right here. Or just like literally on the second, but after the fucking colony shit. Like hopefully just like the milliseconds or something, right? Literally by milliseconds. But you want to land it right here. Alright, this is how you do it. You time it. Well, it's a little bit easier. You time your attack so that, let's say if there's like a 2-hour travel time, okay? 2-hour travel time. Right? You got to do it like that. So you send it at, well 3 p.m. or whatever at this moment. Like oh no, you actually want to do it around here or something like that. Just in case it speeds it up by 10 seconds, right? Oh, actually no. What am I saying? You got to fucking do it like a little bit after. You need like 10 seconds, right? So if it minuses the 10 seconds, right? You'll still send it at this point, and then 2 hours later you're gonna land, boom, right? But it's a little bit safer to just go with 11 seconds, right? Just in case. Oh, fuck, I don't think I'm doing my math right, but like you get the idea. You just want to time your shit so that you're taking into account your travel time, right? However long, and you're not gonna get nice numbers. No, you're not gonna get fucking nice numbers ever, right? This takes 36 minutes. So if I want to hit someone at exactly 17 hours, I have to wait like 50 49 minutes and like blah 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 20, you do the seconds and you time that. Right, which is crazy, right? So if I send it right here, you'll notice if I send it, okay, let's do it at 40. Okay, let's send the attack. Watch, it's gonna get anti-timered. So instead of landing at 16, 10, 40, it anti-timered to 38, right? 2 seconds earlier. I got +2, right? And so if I try to snipe it on the second, I just missed it, right? So you got to accommodate that. That's important. So what's crazy, what's so fucking fun about this game is when you have 10 people trying to coordinate, like, let's all hit him a second after it lands, or let's all support a second before it lands, right? Let's try to front snipe it, let's try to back snipe it, let's try to do both, right? Which is dumb, actually, because you might end up hitting your own support. Every single person in the fucking alliance, they have to respond perfectly. They have to send every single attack perfectly. Seconds, dude. You gotta get seconds before it lands or after it lands, right? That's how a siege operates. Noobs will just send all their attacks. Like, I mean, I do that because, like, I doubt people are trying to fucking snipe it the moment it lands. Like, you know, I don't expect my opponents to be too good right now. I don't expect my opponents to be so diligent right now, especially when it's like hours of travel time. Like, there's this one fucker that I've been trying to conquer right here. His teammates are all the way over here, right? And there's some below him, sure, but they have their own fucking things to deal with. If they send units up here to this guy, I'm gonna just tell all my teammates, dude, just fucking attack him right now and just conquer him. Like, They're spreading their resources, right? It's complicated like that. Okay, that's why it's so fun, because when you do get that juicy fucking snipe, like I think someone has a screenshot here or something. Yeah, snipe master. Look at this shit. When you get that juicy snipe, right, and you hit the colony ship, like look, this guy hit the colony ship, which landed, and he's only got his offense units, right? So you want to hit your colony ship, and you want to time your support to land literally on the dot, right? A second, or not even a second, like literally at the time, because if it goes after the colony ship, it'll technically count as like after, right? Even if it's at the exact second, or like you just do it the second after, right? He sniped it so perfectly that before this guy with this guy's units could even get some support in, he hit him with this, right? The fucking hoplites and the chariots, and just sniped it. Boom. Right. It's really fun. It's really fun when you get a good snipe, and it's really fun when you counter a snipe and you get your support in, right? Like earlier, I tried to conquer this guy, and within an hour, there were like 26 attacks coming from the left. I have a screenshot on my Discord. And then like 28 support coming, because all my teammates are like, fuck, we gotta support it, but like we didn't time it perfectly, right? We didn't get all our support in, so then they end up sniping it like an hour later or something like that, because we didn't time our shit, you know. But it gets fucking intense, because you can be a one-man army. You don't need your alliance when you have 50 cities, right? You have like 37 cities, send fucking 2,000 units each. All right, and then you slam the fuck out of the city. You time your support. You have like 10,000 goddamn hoplites, 10,000 swordsmen, and then you just do it yourself. Right. The difference is you're not going to be the only one with 50 cities. Right. Like a month or 2 months into the game, everyone's going to have fucking 50 cities, and you're all flinging shit at each other, and you're all trying to take over each other. And there's so much like diplomacy and politics. It's actually crazy, dude. A lot of these players I recognize. Right? Especially Witch Hunter General. This fucker, I remember from 4 years ago, dude. This guy is still in the game, and he still plays. A lot of these people are like old, dude. I'm not even kidding. They're like 40, 50. Right? I've met a 60-year-old that just plays this in his free time. Right? And like I was really young too. One of the youngest. I was like 12, 13 or something, 8th grade, and I still play. Every like year or so, I just come back to the game and play a world until like I get bored of it after like 3-4 months. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna win this, so then I just peace. Or like school will get in the way. But now, because I'm actually like fucking free, I'm going hard into this shit, you know. Yeah, so like they're it's simple. It's simple now. They only got a couple cities. I have another world actually. I'll show you guys. This is funny. I had another world that I was playing. That I joined late. Let's see. Yeah, how many points? I'm at 57k here, so I'm definitely ahead of my other thing. But yeah, look at this. This is pretty nuts. This world has been going on for a while. This oh my god, this kid has 211 cities, dude. and the top players. It's not like the top players are shit either. Like even having fucking 10 cities for me is just like, what the fuck? Like I can't even, right? Like I'm trying to manage all that shit at once. Like look at the, oh, I don't have the administrator stuff. How do you play with 211 cities? I have to scroll. Dude. Every single one of these can house like 4,000 units. You gotta build in every single city. What the oh my god. He's even got a fucking, like, what is this, dude? What is this? These islands are stacked. Oh shit, my, like, wow, dude, this is endgame. Yeah, like this is, I'm not even kidding. This is how the world looks like after a couple months on a Speed 4 world. Right, and everyone's trying to build fucking world wonders and shit. What do you do? Look at this alliance. Right? Holy shit. Holy shit. So like the top player is 212k, or sorry, the bottom player in this top alliance is 212k. And like my world is pretty fresh, so the highest we have witnessed is, well, 214k. Ha! This guy wouldn't even be like close to the top in the other world. But we're getting there, so That's what's fun. Anytime a new world starts, it's like if you can just hop on it, you can be that stupid fucker with. Ooh, my attack went through. Okay, nice. So I got some good returns here. Cleared this whole city, and I got 1,400 battle points. That's good. Let's start a victory procession in each city. Get 7 there. Then select this guy. Build my farming villages. Give me my fucking farming villages, man. I want my goddamn resources. Start upgrading. Some nice numbers. We end at a perfect 0 eventually. Nice. Right, see how I have like a whole scroll thing? Can you imagine scrolling for 200 cities? Yeah, there's no point. There's... Okay, well there is a point, but... Like you... Jesus. That's it. That's really... Just Jesus. Okay, that's my whole primer. My whole package for people that want to play Grepolis. Sorry I couldn't... Well, it could have been more condensed, but somewhat lazy on that. I'm gonna attack this guy next. I've got a fucking spy report on him. I see your shit, boy. I'm gonna take that shit in a second. I see that shit. Once my ships are back, I'm gonna attack him. Boom, I've got a couple. Okay. Alright. Thanks for watching. If you have more questions, just ask me on the Q&A. I also have a channel on my main Discord. And if you want to join, I'll put a referral link in the description, I guess, or like in the comments. Hopefully I can get like a referral link for... Oh, yeah. Yeah, here you go. Okay. Boom. Let's do it there. Let's just put you 2 here. This is one of my viewers too. Haha. Nice. Oh, and here. Okay. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching, and hopefully this helped you. Yep. Peace.